Welcome to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. Lori McKinney, who is the co-founder and executive director of the RiffRaff Arts Collective, joins us this morning to talk about the 12th annual Downtown Countdown kicking off in Princeton. Thanks so much for coming back to the forum.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And I know we've talked about this the past 2 years, and it's such a cool event, the Downtown Countdown in Princeton. But for the people out there that may not know or wasn't able to catch our last two shows, can you tell them what it's all about?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much. It's so nice to be here, and it's become like a tradition. I love getting to see you and talk to you about the events. I appreciate it. And it's hard to believe that it's time to ring in another new year, but the tradition is 12 years old, as you said, and we culminate with a ball drop and fireworks at midnight, which is just a very exciting moment for the community. And leading into that ball drop, there's a whole host of activities, tons of live music, and we have circus performers and ice sculptors and kids activities and crafts, and just a whole sort of Winterfest atmosphere where we're able to showcase our neighborhood and all kinds of creative people and just kind of bask in a joyous moment of togetherness.
Awesome, awesome. And if you all haven't been to Princeton, if you have not had opportunity to enjoy the Grassroots District, please go. And this would be an excellent time to go on New Year's Eve. Kicks off at 8:30, correct?
Yeah, it does. And this year we have we started a new tradition last year, which is an early bird countdown. It's called It's Midnight Somewhere Pinata Party. And the idea came about because some of the businesses that are just outside of the main festival area, they really wanted to be involved, and kicked around a lot of different ideas. And a lot of kiddos aren't able to stay up until midnight, and also just various people for various reasons, their sleep schedules or whatnot. We wanted to celebrate early for them, and so the Princeton Public Library and Hatter's Bookshop and Daydream Games, two very creative businesses right there in the library area, we started an event last year called what I just mentioned, and the Daydream Games folks created this amazing pinata, and so there's actually a preliminary ball drop that happens at 8 p.m. So from 6 to 8 p.m. there's kind of like pre-festival activities, really centered around the kids. And this year, at the end of the pinata party, once the candy is just all over and the kids are enjoying themselves so much, we'll gather together with some of the creative folks, some of the musicians and circus performers, and we'll actually parade from the public library parking lot down to kick off the main event at Dick Copeland Town Square at 8:30 p.m.
Wow, that'll be really great too. And where the holiday falls on a weekday this year. I know most people are off for New Year's Day, except for, the news folks. So that'll give some people the opportunity to come out and enjoy the New Year's Eve festivities, but still be able to get home and do what they need to do tomorrow. So
yeah, definitely. And hopefully some of them will stick around maybe for the early part of the event, so they can just sort of experience it. Such a colorful atmosphere. I think right when the MC kicks off the night, the cirque performers will do their first set, and it's just fascinating to watch these acrobats like hanging on aerial silks and these different apparatuses. I don't know what the plural of that is, but they are so skilled, and it makes me immediately want to go home and lift some weights or do some sit-ups or something, because you just imagine it's fascinating to watch them and the strength that they exhibit and the artistry of the cirque performances. And I think that's just such a unique sort of experience for people to have right there in the middle of their their town. We kind of try to create a different feel for people, and some people might see something for the first time, like the ice sculptors in the street. Also, there's this world-renowned ice sculptor named Aaron Kostick, and he goes to ice sculpting competitions all over the world, and it's incredible to watch a solid block of ice turn into a sculptured masterpiece. This year he's going to carve a phoenix, and a lot of the sculptures that I've seen of his are of winged creatures, and there's just something really spectacular about seeing a set of wings, whether it's like when it's carved in sculpture, and especially particularly in ice, and it'll be all lit up, and there's something I think just inspiring for people to watch and witness that. So yeah, that's kind of like the flavor and feel of the night.
Absolutely. It's a true skill. I can't imagine how how hard it is to really get that detail in there with wings too, the feathers and all that. So that'll be an awesome thing to watch, that and the cirque performers, because I've always loved that aerial, you know, acrobats and things like that. So that'll be really cool. And we all know that you and the Grassroots District are known for being music lovers. So I'm sure you all have a lot of musicians out that night as well too.
We do, and I think you mentioned that if you haven't been in the Grassroots District, it might be a nice time to come. And I think the thing about this night is that it kind of comes to life in a way that shows you what's possible. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I wish it could be like this every day when an event happens. And if so much detail didn't go into each event, it would be nice if it could just sort of feel like that all the time. But for these special events, the venues, you know, are showcasing musicians and kind of like in the fullest expressions of themselves the venues become. But we have bands and acoustic performances and poetry in actually 7 indoor venues. It's sometimes I count. It's hard to count them and kind of determine which ones are which each year. But there's 7 this year, and that's the back room of the Dream Bean Coffee House is one of the venues, and the Alan Smith Band is a local favorite, and they'll be playing jazz. They do a lot of different types of music this year. For this event, they're going to lean into the jazz. And the manager of the Dream Bean has been saying that the coffee house feels like a jazz club to him, and he's just really wanted to have jazz music in there. So his dream will come true that night. I'm excited to feel that kind of buzz in the coffee shop. There's a pop-up venue called the Listening Room in the RiffRaff. We've been having poetry nights, spoken word, open mic nights every Thursday at the Dream Bean, and that's been just a really nice creative scene that's starting to develop, like the community that's surrounding whether it's storytelling, short stories, poetry, or whatever people want to share on those spoken word open mics. There's been a nice writing community surrounding it, so we're going to showcase that this year. There's a poet called Crystal Good, she's amazing, and she lives in Princeton now, which is so wild. I remember one day she called me and just said, hey, I'm living in Princeton. It was like exciting. She's the founder of Black by God, West Virginia, an amazing publication. And so happy to have her sharing her poetry. Another artist, Jermaine J. Lane, who's been coming to the open mics and for years. Birdman, Dave Glenn Alley is an enthusiast. And then Alan Cade is a community choir, I guess, patron or shepherd. He's been a choir teacher for years and years, and he's been hosting a community choir. And let's see here, who is the other poet? Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee this morning.
Oh, no, you're fine. Got to take a stop by the Dream Bean.
Yeah, I need to. I only got 1 coffee this morning. I should have gotten 2. But there's also acoustic music performances in the listening room, local favorites James Hart and Samuel James. And then in the room upstairs, which is another venue in the RiffRaff, Grace Campbell. A lot of these artists that I'm mentioning, they actually grew up at Stages Music School, and we've watched them go from these young kiddos when their guitars were like bigger than them, and now they're just like grown-up rock stars. It's pretty awesome. But Grace Campbell and her band will be in the room upstairs. And then at Stages Music School, another band from Morgantown called the Shoats. They're indie bluegrass. They have this really sweet kind of Americana sound. And then down at the Beauport Brewery and Bakehouse, we've got, they're called the Trad Warlords. They're a Celtic act, trad short for traditional, so they play Scottish and Irish music. So I thought that would be like a really nice feel for the pub that night. And then down at the event center called Monarch on Mercer on the block, there's a local DJ named John Baldwin, and he loves electronic music. He loves creating a whole dance party scene. So there's going to be a dance party that's sponsored by the New River Universalist Fellowship.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just like a whole kind of roster of live music and poetry and performances, and there are a lot of free activities. So the general admission is all free, and there are so many places. Like there's a gaming theater that has all the newest video games, and crafts, a local business, Hammer and Stain, and she's going to do little word of the year ornaments, so you can really reflect and think about what you want to call in for the new year. And so a lot of those activities are all free, but then there's a all-access entertainment pass. 5 of the venues require a ticket. You just get 1 special sparkling wristband, and they grant you access to all 5 of those venues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun, and especially for music lovers, art lovers, poetry lovers. Like, I mean, it's something for everybody. No matter what it is that you want to do, like, you'll find something for you at the Downtown Countdown. I think Bachort, the brewery and bakehouse, that's one of your newest businesses on the district, correct?
Yeah, it's really neat. I feel like it's the sign of a healthy downtown, that there's been a lot of businesses that have needed to kind of, take a different path in life for one reason or another, and they've passed the torch successfully on to the next owners. I think the Hatter's Bookshop, which I mentioned earlier, that is part of the Early Bird Countdown, they have done incredible things with that bookstore. It is like a destination, and they've got archways made of books, and it's the Hatters, and so it's like a whole Alice in Wonderland theme, and they've got these beautiful murals on the walls, and every time you go in there, it's something new. And that bookstore was passed on from the previous owner, Tammy Dotson, and it was passed on to her from the previous owner, Rachel Parsons, and it's just gotten passed down, and it's like so important to the community to have that bookstore. And then the Sophisticated Hound was Mercer County's first brewery. So that was very special, and it was like a very special chapter in life. And the owner has a family, and it just felt like it was time for him to make a move. And he took his time and really found his successor. And the Beaucourt Brewery and Bakehouse is run by a wonderful couple, a woman named Ginger. She's actually an art therapist, and just a wonderful couple. JW is passionate about brewing, and so they've reimagined and sort of re-emerged with a brewery as Beaucourt Brewery and Bakehouse.
That's really cool. Yeah. It's really awesome. And I thought I saw something, about them coming to the area, and we wanted to go to their grand opening, but I think that's when, the weather hit and they ended up having to cancel it. But hopefully, we can get some more people out there to go, go see what it's all about, and welcome the newest addition to the Grassroots District. Because, it seems like every business there was just meant to be there. Like, it all feeds in together very well, and it seems like you all work together very well.
Yeah, there's a really cooperative spirit on the street right now. There's a lot of just new energy and new harmony. There is a building that sat vacant for a long time. It used to be Eye Doctor, Taylor Optical, and the building, a lot of people had gotten inspired and thought that they would like to take a stab at renovating it, but they would kind of give up once they realized what a huge project it was. But the Mercer Street Bicycle Co-op has opened in the old Taylor Optical building, which is right next to the coffee house. And it's a nonprofit that wants to put bicycles in the hands of every kid who wants one. So families who aren't able to afford a bicycle, it is their mission to get bicycles to them. And so it's a beautiful operation. They also have a bicycle shop and just like a mercantile with different products. So it supports their mission. And the Greg Puckett, who's always painting buildings, worked with the owner and painted this building, this very bright, vibrant teal color, almost the color of my shirt. And it is just so nice to see that building activated. And that whole family brings just a lot of energy. One of the owners, Jamie, she worked with the Chamber of Commerce back where they used to live in Idaho, and so she brings all this kind of neighborhood marketing perspective and excitement. So there's just like a lot of that type of spirit on the street that are just eager to dive in together and what can we do, what can we get into next? So this Downtown Countdown feels like a celebration of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're about to go on, well, actually, before we go on to our break, we're actually going to take a look at what you all can expect from the Downtown Countdown. But before we get to that video, do you mind plugging the contact information so they know where to find all this awesome information and where to get tickets?
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's a lot to take in, but to find all of the details, find tickets and information, you can go to downtowncountdown.org.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. Well, if you want to see what you can expect from the Downtown Countdown, here is a look at the promo.
The Mercer Street Grassroots District is a happening place to be this New Year's Eve. We'll ring in 2025 with a magical celebration. Enjoy 6 venues of live music, circus performances, ice sculptors, a gaming theater, crafts, poetry, a dance party, a scavenger hunt, and of course, the ball drop and fireworks at midnight. This will be a night to remember. Our neighborhood is buzzing. There's so much to see and experience. There will be delicious food and drinks at Jimmy's Restaurant, Beaucourt Brewery and Bakehouse, and Green Bean Coffee House. Enjoy live music by Grace Campbell, Alan the Smith Band, James Hart, and many more. Poetry by Jermaine J. Lane, Alan Cade, John Bolt, Crystal Good, and Dave Glenn Alley. Fire dancing and circus performances by Fluidity Performance Troupe. Ice sculpting with Aaron Kostick, and so much more. Plus, it's Midnight Somewhere Pinata Party, an early bird countdown from 6 to 8 p.m. in the parking lot of the library, followed by a parade to kick off the night. It's a party for the whole family. So tell your friends and family and plan to ring in 2025 in the Mercer Street Grassroots District. Experience the music, the magic, and togetherness we feel when we gather to ring in the new year. Here's to the future. It's time to make some new memories together. Find details at downtowncountdown.org.
Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Lori McKinney, and we're talking about the 12th annual Downtown Countdown kicking off in Princeton on New Year's Eve. Now for my favorite topic, food. Who are some of the food vendors that we can expect to be there? I'm sure Jimmy's restaurant will be open, but I'm sure there's a couple others there.
Yeah, it's always so nice when the downtown businesses get to kind of shine during this event. Jimmy's restaurant is so good. And they also have their pizza, which has been super popular. It's excellent pizza, and always the most unique recipes and pizzas that he creates. And I'm excited to see what his specials are. And then the Beaucourt Brewery and Bakehouse, also they have really wonderful food. My husband Robert's favorite is their brisket French dip. So good. And they have a really great crab dip and spinach artichoke dip, and then of course all of the craft beer and wine that they have there. It's a nice way to spend the countdown. You can actually look out their window and see the ball drop. They have that wonderful patio too that's surrounded with the murals, and hoping that the weather allows for people to be kind of on the patio and themselves watching the ball drop. I think that's a really great way to bring in the new year. And then also, of course, the Dream Bean Coffee House for your hot chocolate and coffee and pastries and whatnot for the evening. And then we have a couple of special food vendors there that night. Hidalgo's Kitchen is a fantastic Mexican food truck. They were there for Culture Fest, and we've gotten to share a few events with them, including the Downtown Countdown last year, and they're always so popular. A really, really sweet family also. And then Lulu's little mini Orbits donuts. They're so good. And we actually, Robert found them or met them at Mountain Music Festival over here in this neck of the woods. And I'm pretty sure that they're based in Fayetteville. But their donuts are exceptional, and they're also just really wonderful people. Robert has actually already made his order because at Culture Fest, they ran out before he got to get his, and he loves the blueberry cake ones. So I've already put in my order for them to set aside Robert's donuts.
Yeah, they sound delicious. And I could imagine, especially with a popular item like donuts that like a lot of people love. I mean, I've never met anybody that didn't like a donut. I mean, I could imagine they're selling out. So you guys make sure to get there on time so you can get your donuts. It looks like we have a lot of other events. This is going to be a jam-packed event in and of itself, but it looks like you have a couple other things going on too, including a Pokemon scavenger hunt.
It's so interesting you say that because it's wild that this is only a 4-hour event. You've got the early bird countdown from 6 to 8, but this is pretty much 8:30 p.m. until midnight. But we just keep trying to bring more and more activities so people feel, really excited. And some people don't necessarily like live music or just want to watch the performances, and they prefer to have things to do. So we've tried to just layer in as many activities as we can for people to kind of hands-on. We've got the gaming theater where the kiddos can go in and play video games, and a lot of parents and kids we've seen in the years past have really enjoyed that gaming trailer together. And then of course the crafts to make. But we have Daydream Games, which is a really creative business in our neighborhood. He's a tabletop gaming designer, and he's always thinking really creatively and just looks at the world in a unique way. And he created a Pokemon scavenger hunt. So throughout the event, you can find or follow clues, and then at the end is a treasure box full of all kinds of really fun things. So that's fun for the kids. We also are introducing a new, it's not a scavenger hunt, it's a bingo card, but the kids, when they first parade down from the early bird countdown pinata drop to the kickoff of the event, they're going to have a little bingo card, or they can find different things throughout the event, and then once they get their card filled, they can get a set of 2025 blinking glasses. So I'm more excited about that too.
I'm sure they'll love that, especially with, it's giving you something to do, and then you get a little prize at the end once you complete the incentive. So I think that'll be really fun for a lot of people.
Yeah, so the total, sorry to interrupt, but the kids, they can start their evening by getting all kinds of candy from the pinata. They can do the scavenger hunt and get in the treasure box, and then also, win the set of glasses. They can go home with all kinds of goodies.
That's awesome. And I love that, there's something for everybody. Like, if the kids want to come, there's plenty of things for the kids to do. But, if there are maybe like college age students, there's something for them to enjoy. Older people, seniors, there's something for them to enjoy. It's literally something for everybody. So it's really awesome that you all are, as much as you said, it's only 4 hours, like the fact that you all keep, throwing in different activities and fun stuff for people to do, it's just something for everybody. So I think that'll be really cool. So if you're looking for something to do New Year's Eve, consider going to Princeton.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And we like to call it a party for the whole family. And even if you're just, you're grown up and you don't have kids, or you want to just come out just with your friends, it is an adult party too. So you've got Danny's bar that is in the neighborhood, and then not that every adult drinks or anything, but if you want to, imbibe on your New Year's Eve, you've got the Beaucourt Brewery with the beer and wine, and also Danny's bar if you're looking for that kind of night on the town too.
Awesome. Definitely there's something for everybody. And also, you all have a wish tree. What does that entail?
So in the very beginning of this tradition, it was right at the beginning of the Renaissance at downtown Princeton. There were all of these wonderful, creative people. A lot of them have since moved, and you've got, different waves of people that come and go. But at this very particular time, there was this very special energy. And it was a previous iteration of the bookstore. It was called Dayfly Books at the time. And a bunch of us were meeting up every week to just talk about what could we do for the downtown. And this tradition was born during that period, along with the Mercer Monster Mash. The same group of people kind of came together to give rise to these two really special events. And one artist volunteered to design the ball. Her name was Stephanie Slaughter Birchfield, and she created that whole design is in the pattern of sequins. So she sewed CDs on to this like chicken wire ball, and so the ball really glows. It kind of looks like a spaceship hovering up there, but and then everybody came together to create that ball. And then we were also brainstorming ideas and looking at traditions from around the world to try to draw on ideas of really special things that we could do, because as we know, New Year's Eve is a party night, but it's also just a really reflective and profound time to really consider, look, where we've come from and consider where we're going. And so we wanted to create some meaningful experiences for people. There's an amazing artist named Isaac Preston, and he creates these tiny wire tree sculptures. You may have seen them, and he and his wife have Rainbow Art Farms over in Bluefield, and they do all kinds of wonderful creative things. But Isaac, his trees are made from recycled materials. So he'll take apart televisions or computers, and people donate him wire all the time too. And he makes these amazing sculptures, and he's always doing something new. And we found this idea of a wishing tree. And so people hang their New Year's wishes on the tree. And so Isaac went about making this remarkable, like giant version of his wire sculpture tree. So it's just a sight to behold. It glows. And it's become kind of one of those visuals that's synonymous with the event, and I think people have sentimental attachment to it. And so year after year, Isaac hauls that big giant wishing tree over. It'll sit right in front of Stages Music School, and we have like little construction paper pieces, and people can just kind of write their hopes or what they want to call in for the new year and hang it on the tree.
That's great, like a little manifestation practice for the new year. So hopefully those wishes are coming true. And yeah, and you guys, you go put your wishes on the wish tree, and hopefully they come true in 2025. It's a crazy sounding year, right?
Yeah, it's a little crazy out there, but I do think the wishing tree works, because I've seen some of the wishes and I've seen them come true. So You should know that.
Worth a shot. You know, you got something you want really bad in 2025. You might want to take a trip to the wishing tree and go put in your wish. So it might better your chances. So, and then we end the night off with the ball drop. Like you mentioned, you have that wonderful handmade, New Year's Eve ball and fireworks.
I'll say it's just such a special tradition. There's so many different partners and people that come together to make the event happen, working very closely with the Princeton Fire Department. It's always very special. They actually hoist the ball up on their fire engine and lower it. So it's this whole collaborative process. It's very special. And, after 12 years in, of really kind of this tradition has shaped, our lives and our relationships. So that's really special. And then the fireworks, we partner with the city of Princeton on those, and the Mercer County Schools, we also really appreciate their cooperation. They're set off at the Straley School and the First Christian Church right next to their parking lot. There's a lot of cooperation that happens with all the partners, but it is really a spectacular fireworks display. And I get a bit emotional. I remember the first time the fireworks show happened, and I was standing there. I remember it was Greg Puckett. The fireworks were his idea. At first, I was like, "Really, we want to do fireworks?" But he was right. And I remember just looking at the look in his eye, and it was just inspiring. And hearing the music and looking around at all the people, the kids and their parents, and everybody making memories together. It was really, really special.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, hopefully our conversation here today will encourage more, people to come out for Downtown Countdown and really come out and have a good time, because this is a great event. And thank you, Lori, for joining us this week. You guys be sure to go to downtowncountdown.org.
That's right.
For more information about the event, where to get tickets, everything that you need to know for the day. But before we go, we're going to show you that promo one more time so you can see what you are getting into if you go to the Downtown Countdown this New Year's Eve. You guys have a happy Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
The Mercer Street Grassroots District is a happening place to be this New Year's Eve. We'll ring in 2025 with a magical celebration. Enjoy 6 venues of live music, circus performances, ice sculptors, a gaming theater, crafts, poetry, a dance party, a scavenger hunt, and of course, the ball drop and fireworks at midnight. This will be a night to remember. Our neighborhood is buzzing. There's so much to see and experience. There will be delicious food and drinks at Jimmy's Restaurant, Bocord Brewery and Bakehouse, and Green Bean Coffee House. Enjoy live music by Grace Campbell, Alan Smith Band, James Hart, and many more. Poetry by Jermaine J. Lane, Alan Cade, John Bolt, Crystal Good, and Dave Glenn Alley. Fire dancing and circus performances by Fluidity Performance Troupe, ice sculpting with Aaron Kostick, and so much more. Plus, it's Midnight Somewhere Pinata Party, an early bird countdown from 6 to 8 p.m. in the parking lot of the library, followed by a parade to kick off the night. It's a party for the whole family. So tell your friends and family and plan to ring in 2025 in the Mercer Street Grassroots District. Experience the music, the magic, and togetherness we feel when we gather to ring in the new year. Here's to the future. It's time to make some new memories together. Find details at downtowncountdown.org.